Okay, hi everyone. So before I do my own introduction, I would like to introduce you to Sarah. And this is our Arctic fox at the Highland Wildlife Park. And I am very aware that I am in the last session standing between yourselves and lunch. So what I'm going to ask you all to do is please stand up, everyone in the room and everyone online as well. I can't see the people online, so I'm just going to trust that you're all doing it. And we're all going to have a great big Sarah-style stretch. So nice big stretch. All stick your tongues out at me. Brilliant. Thank you very much, everybody. Right. So that's what we like to call an animal action break. Get people up and get them moving. So yeah, my name is Lizzie. For my visual descriptor, I am a very short white female with brown curly hair. And today I am wearing a yellow dress with geese on, and I keep forgetting I'm wearing my uniform, and I'm amazed that people know I work at the zoo. So it's going well today. So my pronouns are she, her. My email address is up there or at the end. If anyone fancies getting in touch, please do. I love a chat. And I'm here today to tell you all about the collaboration that we worked on across different departments and across different organisations to tell the stories of living lynx. So first of all, I'm really hoping that the sound might be working now. I can pass over to my colleague Morris to explain what living lynx is. If he's going to talk to you. That is okay. Morris is obviously feeling shy. That is why I brought my iPad up, so I can talk through what he might have said. It's not like Morris to feel shy. If anyone's ever been to the zoo, you might have met him. He thinks he's the next David Attenborough.
Something.
That's absolutely fine. We will just skip on to the next slide if that's possible, and I can tell us about living lynx instead. So you can find Morris's excellent story about living lynx if you search for Living Lynx Edinburgh Zoo on YouTube, or it's playing completely on repeat in the exhibit in the zoo. And the researchers who have to listen to it all day long actually did their Christmas party game was to see who could quote the script the best. So, no, that's absolutely fine. I'll just carry on. So for those of you who may not have visited Edinburgh Zoo before, Living Lynx is our exhibit of common squirrel monkeys, which you can see here, and capuchins. And it's a really cool exhibit that has been going for 15 years now in collaboration with the University of St Andrews. And what we have is actually two sections that are completely mirrored. So it kind of feels a bit weird as a visitor to walk in because you get a real hard sense of deja vu because you have a section where you walk in that you have the outside area of the squirrel monkeys and the capuchins. Then you can go inside and you can see they've got kind of, we like to call them bedrooms or indoor enclosures. And then there's an area for research for the University of St Andrews. Then there's a great big central balcony where you can see two outdoor enclosures, and then you go and see a whole thing over again. So it's kind of mirrored like that for research. And as I said, this opened 15 years ago, and it really hadn't been touched much since. And so it can kind of give that kind of strange sense of deja vu when visitors walk in. And also, you know, the topic of kind of research with animals can be a little bit sensitive. So we really wanted to give the whole exhibit an interpretive upgrade to kind of tell those stories better. And so what we did, we set out in collaboration with the University of St Andrews, but also in collaboration with a lot of Royal Zoological Society of Scotland teams. So we have internal teams for interpretation, for discovery and learning, for formal education, for informal education, for our rangers, for our keeping team, had to be involved for the monkeys' well-beings. And this whole project was also jointly funded by RZSS, and the University of St Andrews. So we both supplied equal amount of staff time. The University of St Andrews actually gave us a lovely member of staff for 3 days a week, Rebecca, who's listening online. I was working on this project for 2 days a week, and so was our interpretation team. So it was an amazing experience to work together in that way. So we started with looking at the visitor experience, and as I said, it's an amazing space. It's one of the spaces in the zoo where you're absolutely guaranteed to see animals, but it can be quite a weird space as well because of that repetition. So we started with the visitor experience, and we transformed the whole journey from the beginning of the space, setting up the scene, building up what people are going to see. So we've got these entrance flags, and actually what I've done is on every other table, if you have a look at the end of every other table, there is a little red headset. And so feel free to grab that. There's some virtual reality there. So I've actually brought Living Links into the building today. And for those of you who hopefully will get a chance to pass the headset around and have an explore, for those of you who don't like virtual reality or are online, you can scan the QR code or go to this link, and there is just a flat 360 that you can drag around and explore as well. And so I've taken 360s of 3 different areas, and this photo here is of the entrance into Living Links, and these are the entrance flags. Which both directions, if you enter from either side, have these flags, and they kind of set the scene. They say, what are you looking out for when you come into this enclosure? What might you see? And then equally on the back, as you're leaving from the other side, it says, did you see this thing? Did you see the animals playing? Did you see them looking after each other? So feel free to keep passing those headsets around, and I will keep talking because time is short. So we then worked on the storytelling, and we had a lot of stories to tell in this space. So a part of our kind of zoo licensing, part of being a zoo, is our conservation education mission. And so we had to tell those stories. We had to tell stories about the species that we have there, about those capuchins and squirrel monkeys. We also had to tell stories about how we work for conservation in the wild. But we had a huge amount of stories to tell about the scientific research that goes on there as well. So I'm just going to put this down because it was just to replace Morris. So we had to tell the stories of the research as well. So for those of you who may not have been there or haven't heard before, the Living Links is a psychological research centre. So it's the Living Links to Human Evolution is its full title for psychologists in the University of St Andrews. And we have research pods in both sides of Living Links, and they're kind of on a little pathway between the monkeys' outdoor area and their indoor area, and they come in and it's completely voluntary for the monkeys. So they basically know that if they come into the research area, they're going to get tasty treats. Normally grapes, their favourite, they love grapes, so they'll do anything. And it's generally the researcher's problem is trying to get them out of the research box when they finish their puzzle, not trying to get them in. But we were trying to tell those stories about the fact that it's completely voluntary and that the kinds of research that go on. So the monkeys will be doing puzzles. They'll be trying to work out, researchers are trying to work out how good their memories are, things like that. And then, of course, we had all the stories of the past research because the facility has been going for 15 years. And we've made some amazing discoveries which have been shared with zoos and psychologists all around the world. So we were trying to tell those stories as well. This is on the photo here, we have a capuchin, and these are some spinning interactive blocks that we used. And so on the tables that didn't have VR headsets, you get the cardboard blocks. These are little miniatures that I made of these blocks. So they give you some information about some of the monkeys. So it starts with the monkey's name, a little bit of information about their kind of personality, and then some features that you can look out for to help you ID them. That was the mic. So yeah, we were trying to tell different stories in lots of different stories in the same space, and so it was quite interesting challenge. So what we did was we developed. So we developed a visual toolkit that kind of helped keep everything continuous through the space. So here you can see we've got, on the left, we've got future thinking. This is kind of a tree of all the research that goes on. And on the right, we have information about the monkeys, and they kind of visually blend. So people can be just kind of pick and choose the information that they want. So as I said, I kind of talked you through some of the science communication that was involved, but the main point that we were trying to get across working with the academics was that the visitors can take part in the science. So we have citizen science projects that go on there. Anyone who's ever been to Edinburgh Zoo might recognise this picture. We gave it a tiny update with the branding, but we kept it the same because it's quite iconic for the zoo. And then the final strand that we did, which I know I'm running out of time, but I cannot not mention because this is my job, is the digital learning side. So we also made an online course on our zoo digital learning environment, or Zoodle, which has 6 lessons for primary teachers to run with their classes. So it has all of the resources and they're mostly online. We found that primary teachers don't really have much of a printing budget. In fact, in some schools in Edinburgh, they're given 1 block of A4 paper to last them a whole term. So we're trying not to get people to print things. So these are all kind of online. You can do them on your iPad, you can do them on the class whiteboard, and feel free to have a look. They're all completely free without needing to log in or pay for anything. So I was going to have a go at the citizen science. Does anyone want to shout out how many capuchins might be in the picture really, really quickly?
24.
24. Any more for 24? 4, 6. There are 5. The benefit of working with St Andrews was that we had really, really good research both before and after and during the project. So these are just some of the topics that they asked over 200 visitors before and after to kind of compare. And you can see small to big increases through all of the work, and those pictures there kind of show the difference between the two before and after as well. So we had, importantly for the Royal Zoological Society of Scotland, we made an improvement to how connected people feel to nature as well. So this is their favourite part of the visit. I know I'm flying through these slides. They are all online if you would like to see any of the data a little bit more. But everyone's favourite part of the day was visiting the monkeys, obviously. This is my final slide. So what we learned. So a really interesting thing that we learned was actually how to work together, how to collaborate with our academic partners. So it was things like kind of trusting each other's expertise. So they had all that expertise in sort of research and evaluation. They knew their topics inside and out. And it was, we had kind of the expertise in visitor engagement and interactives and things like that. So we learned how to work really, really well together, and we came up with a great project. As I said, we were telling multiple stories in the same space, but also in different spaces across online and on site, using that visual toolkit that we developed. We were also, I haven't really spoken much about the citizen science because of time-wise, but we have a citizen science project out on that main balcony that gets the visitors watching the monkeys. And we've learned how that best works for us. So we were hoping to have it just running on some tablets that people could pick up and play. But actually, people really like to have that human engagement. So going forward, we're going to have volunteers working on the citizen science to bring people in. And we're also really hoping to be able to have it so that we can set up some live webcams to the monkeys and people can do it from home as well. Because as that last graph showed, everybody loves watching the monkeys when they come to the zoo. And maybe they actually want to go home and do the science and they want to watch them just have fun when they're here live. And finally, our last point is probably only relevant to us, but we also learned how to make Intert monkey friendly. Those spinning blocks that I showed you, they were really squeaky and then they were really spinny and then they came off their spinning things. And we worked with our installation company to develop some really custom washers to make them quiet as possible. And you can see the monkeys absolutely love them as well. They love to come up and see the people interacting with them and sit by their own blocks sometimes. I don't know how they know. So I'm really sorry that was so quick. Here are my contact details if anyone would like to know any more about it. And the white link at the bottom is also where you can find a lowdown of my slides where I've actually typed things out rather than just put pictures of monkeys, and the 360 of living links as well if you'd like to explore. But thank you so much for coming with me.